This podcast episode is a mix of Punjabi and English.
ਇਹ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੋਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਹਰ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਪੰਦੇਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ।
Hanji, welcome everybody. It's been a while. Welcome back. It's the HarPodcast. Myself, Harpreet Singh Pandher. It has been a while, and there's a few different reasons we'll talk about why. One is our friend Raja got married this past summer. He got a little bit too busy, and we were unable to continue with the podcast. So we were on a bit of a hiatus. But I have somebody who will give me a hand with this, who will be my partner in crime, like Raja was, somebody who will produce this. He's very young. We're going to get to know him real well. And his name is Jagraj Lalli. Jagraj, how are you? Welcome to the HarPodcast.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ thanks everyone for tuning in and thank you Harp for giving me the opportunity to be your partner and being able to work with you on this.
Yeah, we're excited. And you're what, only 18, 19 years old?
Yeah, 18. I turned 19 in December.
Wow, no Juan. You know what, without a Juan there's no Juan, so we need a Juan, and that's why we have Jagraj. I'm excited about it. Jagraj is also with our Hockey Night in Canada Punjabi team. He just completed his first year, so we're going to do this podcast together. Raja will come in with us with when he has the time. He's still not fully out of it, but like I said, I tried to restart it with him, but he was busy. We all have commitments, so congrats to him on his wedding with Simran this past summer. And Jagraj, tell me about your experience. I know you're a BCIT student. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, as a kid, I always had a passion for watching sports. It all started when I was about 6 years old. The 2011 Stanley Cup Finals were on, and I was scrolling through channels. I happened to see the Canucks playing the Blackhawks at the time, actually. On the TV screen, I only saw about two abbreviations. One had CHI for Chicago, one had VAN. I was just a kid at a time who had no knowledge about hockey whatsoever. I had no idea what was going on. I just saw my Tayaji, my uncle. He was watching the game. And so that at that point, he told me the blue team is who we're cheering for. And from that point on, as they say, the rest is history. I started watching hockey at that age, and I just happened to hear our good friend Harnrayan Singh doing commentary for the 2011 finals. It was an unbelievable experience getting to hear someone in Punjabi. We talk about representation and how it matters so much. It just really was a humbling experience to hear someone in Punjabi commentating and honestly like talking about the game that we love. And from that point on, I just continued watching hockey. I continued doing my research. When Rogers made the switch over, when Rogers gained the hockey rights for Sportsnet, that was when you joined the show. And I tell you guys this all the time. I've been watching this show from a very young age. I remember each member that has gone through, each member that's still on the show. It's just been an unbelievable experience watching you guys while growing up, and now it's an even more humbling experience to be able to work with you guys. I can honestly say that first season was one of the best times I've had in my life.
And it's been a pleasure to have you. You got 1 year under your belt now, and how does it feel, and what was your past experience? I know you're a BCIT student. How does that experience transfer into what you're doing now?
Well, let me tell you a bit of a story about that, actually. Growing up, obviously, as I told you, I was always connected to sports, whether it was hockey, basketball. I did swimming as a kid as well. I was enrolled in swimming lessons, and I was going through my choices for what I wanted to do after high school. They normally take you around that planning era in grade 10. And so I weighed my options. As a kid, I really wanted to be an air traffic controller as well, because I was very curious about airplanes and the airports and everything, right? But for that, I saw that there was so much I had to do. And honestly, like I didn't know if that was the career path that I wanted. And then it kind of struck me that all of these broadcasters, every one of these people who are in the industry now, they've had their own unique path getting to where they are now. It hasn't been an easy road either, right? But it kind of struck me that, okay, I know this is what I want to do. I want to be different from everyone else. I don't want to take the typical being a lawyer, being an accountant, that sort of route, right? So I then found this program at BCIT called Broadcast and Online Journalism. And I enrolled myself in that. And this past first year, I was the only Punjabi kid in my class. No, there was no other Punjabi kid. I was the only one. And that kind of, while it was a bit intimidating as well, it was also humbling knowing that I have a chance to represent my culture and my generation of students. And from that point on, I was doing an assignment in October for BCIT, and I requested an interview from our good friend, good colleague, Randeep Jenda. Randeep didn't get back to me, but our producer, Raja Shergill, he got back to me saying, I have an opportunity for you. Call me. So I get the call. Raja tells me there's an opening for the social media job. And so the interview happens. I talked to Randeep and Raja. And then a couple of days later, when I got that call that I got offered the job, I felt a rush of emotions at once. I did not know how exactly to feel. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I'd never thought in a million years I would be able to get to work on the show that I watched growing up and the show that I idolized so much. And so it was overall a very humbling experience getting to the point where I am now. But talking about this first season as well, everyone has been so supportive on the show ever since I started. You know, I came in about a couple months into the season, and obviously, you know, at that point, everyone is so busy with their own jobs. And I know from experience, you and Mantad as well, you guys have a very heavy job because calling the game is not an easy task to do. But whenever I had any question, you guys would be the first to tell me, it's okay, we're here for you, we're going to help you with whatever you need, right? And so, like I said, it's been such an unbelievable experience getting to know you guys, but getting to work with you guys has been even better.
Thanks. Those are nice words for you to share about the team. And, it's a team effort, and we got to support each other. We're all in this together. So it's very nice having, you and Tejpal's obviously young, but not as young as you on board. And we look forward to this upcoming season, which is about 50 days away.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਹਰ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਪੰਧੇਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ।
So this podcast is not going to be just about sports. We're going to have athletes. We're going to have some local athletes like we've done in the past. We're going to have some artists, and we're going to have some people that normally wouldn't get the platform to share their experience or their story. So we're going to have ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਮਿਕਸ ਹੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮਿਕਸ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਉਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਬੋਲਣਗੇ, ਕਈ ਸਿਰਫ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਕਈ ਮਿਕਸ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਤੇ ਜਗਰਾਜ ਵਰਗੇ. So we're excited to have this podcast going. So we got a few more minutes. I know we got a big list of guests to record, and Jagraj and I are both excited. Jagraj, tell me, like, who are your inspirations growing up? Either a celebrity or family or athlete, whatever it may be.
I know a lot of people may have inspirations who have done the thing that they want to do, like the career path that they're going towards, or let's say they have someone they really look up to. But for me, my family is the most important thing in my life. मैं थोड़ी पंजाबी च भी गल कर दिना क्योंकि मेरे परिवार ने सुनना होना है। मेरा सब तो नंबर 1 इंस्पिरेशन my father, मेरे डैडी हरप्रीत सिंह लाली। जिन्नी ओ मेहनत करदे like the way I talk about this a lot to everyone, right? Like, our parents do so much for us just so we can have a chance at a great life, right? My dad, when he was coming to Canada, he did not have an easy route at all. He had to go through at least 5 countries just to get here. and it wasn't by plane either. Like he had to struggle throughout. Like there was nights where he didn't sleep, there was nights he didn't eat. He had to struggle so much just to get to where he's at right now. And that's why I say my dad is my biggest hero, because he's the one that taught me that you got to work hard to really earn something that you want, right? ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਡੈਡੀ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਦਾ ਫਲ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ. I had the chance to work with my dad for one summer as well, doing his landscaping job. And it was honestly like, it made me realize how hard of a time he has to go through just to make sure that we have food on our table. You know, we all, I think as kids, we take it for granted that we get so much from our parents, right? But we never get the chance to see what they have to go through and take it from their perspective. But he really taught me that you have to work hard, and you have to make sure that if you do work hard, you have to reward yourself sometimes, and you have to like appreciate yourself sometimes as well. Duje number te, my other biggest inspiration is my Mama Ji, Sardar Butta Singh Jor. My Mama Ji also came to Canada in about 1998, and ਉਹ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. ਸੋ ਲਾਈਕ ਹੀ ਵਾਸ ਵੈਰੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟਰੈਕਟਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ, ਹਨਾ. ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ, ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਵੇਚਣਾ ਪਿਆ, ਹੀ ਫੈਲਟ ਲਾਈਕ ਹੀ ਹੈਡ ਲੋਸਟ ਅ ਸਨ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਏਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਬੱਚਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਵਾ ਲਿਆ. And for years, he had to also work hard. Dohya Devich, my cousin, his oldest son, Jagraj Singh Jol, was born, right? But my mama was still working 2 jobs. He was working as a Greyhound bus driver, and he ultimately opened up his own landscaping company, which him and my dad worked together at, SS Johal Landscaping. ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਕੀਤੀ, and then he kept on working. ਪਰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀ, ਮਨ 'ਚ always ਇਹੀ ਤਮੰਨਾ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਿਆ ਸਕਾਂ. 2015 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਈਡੀਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਿਪ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਆਉਣੇ ਆ. ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੈ ਆਉਂਦੇ. He was one of the first people to import his tractors and his vehicles here to Canada by ship. It was honestly a scary task. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਚੇਤਾ ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਕਿ ਡਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਜੇ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਪਹੁੰਚੂਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਸ਼ਿਪ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ, ਹਨਾ. ਪਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਟਰੈਕਟਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਸੀ, and now we have a total of 8 tractors here. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਮਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ he treats me like his own son. ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਮੇ ਦਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਏਦਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ. like ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ 2 ਮੁੰਡੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. he treats me like his 3rd son. ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਰਹਿਣਾ. like as we're sitting here, I'm at my mama's house right now as we're recording this right here. And ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਕਿ oh mera kaade bahut, like that's not even enough to say how much he truly does care for me. He treats me like his 3rd son. Whatever I need, whenever I need anything, he's there for me. He's one of the most humble people that you'll ever meet, and I'm just really blessed to have such inspirational people that I can look up to in my family.
You're listening to the HarPodcast with Harpreet Pandey.
You know, it does make a big difference who's around us, and it's great to have inspirations, and it's wonderful to hear about, you know, a bit about your dad, because I don't know, you've never told me before, and you know, the struggle, I can just attest to that myself, and our generation, even though Jagraj, I'm, you know, probably your dad's age, but my situation was different, just being the first generation Canadian born, and that's why I say we're the same generation, because you're the first Canadian born here too, right?
Yeah.
So ਹੈਗਾ ਫਰਕ, and ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਦਾ, and just, you know, just our folks and our generations. I don't want to go deep into it, but I'm truly grateful for that as well. So yeah, you know, it amazes me that you're only 18 years old and you can speak such good Punjabi and good English, and that's an attest to your parents and those who were around you when you're growing up, and you're still growing up. You got your whole life ahead of you. So I'm proud of you for being involved in this, and we'll always be chatting along in the episodes anyhow. So don't worry if something got left out on this one. We can always spit it out later.
There is one thing that I would like to say. I appreciate the fact that you commented on my Punjabi as well. ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸੀ. ਮੈਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਪੜਨਾਨੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ I was lucky enough to have my great grandmother in my life not many people can say that you know ਤੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੋਂ I was attached to her like I could not stay away from her at all there's actually a funny story ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ 2 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਪੜਨਾਨੀ ਇੱਥੇ my great grandmother had stayed here we were on the way to Toronto and my parents tell me I was crying the whole way on the flight because I did not want to be away from her. So my parents had to bring me back from Toronto. They had to take a flight back from Toronto just to drop me off here. And they went to India then. For 2 weeks, I was away from my parents, but I did not cry once because I was with my great grandmother all the time. ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਿਖਾਈ ਸੀ and my parents enrolled me in Punjabi classes at the age of 6 and I took Punjabi classes for 8 to 9 years. I had taken the language challenge exam that people take in grade 12 before they graduate to get that Punjabi 12 credit, right? And I had got my result on March 28th. My great grandmother was in the hospital at the time because of hip surgery. I was going to go tell her the result, but I was busy at work that day. ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾਦੀ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਟੈਸਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਮਾਰਕ ਆਇਆ I had gotten 98% on that test. ਤੇ March 29th ਆਈ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਅੱਜ ਚੇਤਾ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਿਓ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ At about 12:20 that day, I get a call from my dad. BB passed away.
Oh, man.
And that was honestly, I can't even begin to tell you the rush of emotions that I had. Like I was completely devastated. It was one of the worst things I'd ever heard in my entire life. Like I could not believe she was really gone, right? Because I thought she would live forever. I thought she'd live to see my wedding. And honestly, like when I heard that, it was really heartbreaking, but I thank her every day. I think of her every day because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ. So I love her. I miss her, but I know she's looking down on me.
God bless her soul.
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਉਸਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾਨਾ ਨਾਨੀ ਦਾਦਾ ਦਾਦੀ and if you're lucky enough like you said ਪੜਨਾਨੀ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ I know I was lucky enough to see my Pardadi ji and Pardnani ji once. So my Pardnani was in India. I got to see her, I think, in 88. So I was young then. And I think my Pardadi ji lived to be close to 100. So, and now fast forward, all four of my grandparents have passed too. So God bless their soul. And you never forget the lessons that you learn from the elders. So,
ਹਾਂਜੀ
you know
ਹਾਂਜੀ it's a
just
blessing.
It's a blessing. It is a true blessing, and I notice it more and more as time goes along. Like I always think that it kind of starts making sense. Like why did my dada do this? My dada used to be in the beda in India, and he would just be doing his part, just walking around, and I was like, man, that's a good way of doing it, right? You don't have to sit and do it. Anyways, I'm going way off track here. But I'm just talking about ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ the wisdom that we get from our elders. So anyways, if anyone's listening out there, the HarPodcast is back. Let your friends and family know. We got Jagraj in the house, Jagraj Lalli. He hails from Vancouver, British Columbia. And myself, Harpreet Singh Pandey, we're back. And yeah, we're going to be recording this week. Jagraj, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Just thank you everyone for all the support up until this point. I know a lot of my friends and family are going to be listening to this as well. I appreciate each and every single one of you. To our Hockey Night Punjabi co-workers, once again, thank you for welcoming me in since day one. And Harp, thank you to you too. You gave me this opportunity. You've been one of my close friends from the show since day one as well. Obviously, we have that connection that you played ball hockey with one of my mamas as well, right? So we have that connection as well, and I'm really looking forward to getting things started here, and I know that we can make something beautiful from this.
Yes, and you mentioned the Hockey Night Canada Punjabi team again. There's still 3 or 4 people that we haven't had on as guests yet. I know off the top of my head. There's Sandeep, there's Gurpreet, there's Takdeed. We're gonna talk to those guys as well. So we're gonna rock out quite a few episodes in the next little bit here. Summer's about to wrap up, so for those who tuned in, we appreciate it. We're back, and you're gonna hear this one in the week of, what is it? What date is it? August 21st. We're recording here. It's almost 1:45 on a Monday. We're recording this. This is going to be released later this evening. And then we got our next guest, which we're going to keep a surprise for you. And that will be released later this week. Thanks for joining us again on the Heart Podcast. And keep listening. Thank you.